Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic Park 3 Re-Ak A-Tak Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, there are actually two versions of this figure. There's a bigger version, which is the one I'm reviewing, and then there's a smaller one that, I gotta be honest, that's probably one of the ugliest dinosaur figures I've ever seen in my life. I know Jurassic World, that toy line, had some pretty ugly looking dinosaurs, but that T-Rex is just, I don't really know what to say. It's just so bad looking. So, of course, I didn't go for that. I decided to go for something, much nicer looking. This was more expensive, but we'll talk about prices later in this video. So, yeah, but I'm glad I went with this instead because that figure is just, it's bad. It's yikes, but I digress. So, yeah. Anyway, let's just jump right into this. I go on for way too long, so let's just get into this. So first, we'll take a look at the paint, and the painting on this figure is actually really nice. Not perfect. There are some things I would have done differently, but for the most part, I really like how it looks. So, of course, most of the body here is this greenish color, which looks nice. For some reason, there are like brown stripes throughout the body, which maybe it was to make the figure look less boring. Because if it was just like green like this and the black up here, I feel like it would have looked a little boring. But like on the underside of the figure, there's like a brighter color. Maybe they could have like given us like more of that, like give us like all of that like underneath here and like for the neck and everything like that. That would have looked awesome, in my opinion. But honestly, not the end of the world. And like I mentioned earlier, these black stripes, they look really nice. Goes down all the way to the tail here. And yeah, a lot of like nice airbrushing, and it does look really nice. The dino damage bit here is painted red, and the bones, the rib cage, is painted a yellowish whitish color. We have the JP3 logo right here. The eyes are painted yellow with black pupils, and the inside of the mouth is painted pink, because like the tongue here and the membrane here, that's all pink. So there you go. The underside of the figure, we have this brighter greenish color, which looks nice. More of this would have been nice, like around the neck here. That would have looked really nice, but it's fine. And of course, actually, for some reason, the feet here are painted like a brighter shade of green. I don't know what that's all about, but it's whatever. The toenails here are painted black, and even the dew claws are painted black, which is honestly really cool. They didn't need to do that, but they did, and again, it looks nice. And the fingernails are actually painted. That's something you don't really see on a lot of Jurassic Park T-Rex toys. They usually just leave these unpainted. Even Kenner did that. I think Kenner made like some of the best Jurassic Park toys ever made, but like even they didn't do this. I think like there's only one T-Rex figure they actually did this for. But it's actually really cool to see here. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for the painting on this figure, and the painting on this figure is really nice. Again, there are some things that I would have done differently, but for the most part, the painting here just looks really nice, so the painting on this figure, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now take a look at the articulation, and it's pretty much the same as the Raptors. Actually, a little more. The legs can move, they're on swivels, so they can move about. We push this rib cage here, and we get the very iconic T-Rex getting hurt sound. Very nice. This arm can rotate on its own. But if we pull this arm back, we actually get, of course, the iconic T-Rex roar. So let's take a listen. One more time. Yeah. Yeah, that that's not the T-Rex. That is not the Jurassic Park 3 or the Jurassic Park T-Rex. Um None of the T-Rex toys for Jurassic Park 3 made like the iconic sound, which is really weird to me. Like the Red Rex, the electronic Red Rex, that didn't make the iconic movie sound because the movie wasn't out yet, so they just kind of had to like make up a sound, you know? So yeah, and that sounded cool, and like that was understandable. And even in the Lost World, the Bull T-Rex was electronic, and that made like the classic T-Rex sound effects. But this figure here it just makes like mammoth sound effects, and it's like, what? Why not just give it the T-Rex roar? It doesn't make sense at all. I just think not even just like the people making the movie, but like the people behind the marketing just really hated the T-Rex for some reason. And kind of a side tangent here. I just don't get this. Well, first of all, um as far as Jurassic Park 3 goes, I think they handled the introduction of the Spinosaurus kind of poorly. Cuz like I don't hate the Spinosaurus, but that introduction was just not great at all. Cuz they constantly shoved it in your face and they had it kill a T-Rex, which first of all, let me just say, when it comes to Jurassic Park, I am the biggest T-Rex fanboy ever. Like, no question. I love the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. But, like, having, the Spinosaurus kill a T-Rex is not really, like, a big deal to me anymore. Because, Jurassic World came along and the T-Rex is now back on top, which is great. But, like, for the time, it was definitely, like, it was upsetting. But, like, you know, um, I wish they did it like this, kind of like how Jurassic World handled it, where like the Spinosaurus was like the bad guy throughout, but then towards the end they fight and the T-Rex just kicks its ass. That's what I would have done differently, but I digress. But another thing I just want to say, just kind of a tangent here. I hear people say like, "Oh, the T-Rex is way too overused. They need to do something else." And in my mind, it's just kind of like, I mean, in other forms of media, like there's a game called Path of Titans. There's no T-Rex in that game, which I'm perfectly fine with. But when it comes to Jurassic Park, I think you kind of need the T-Rex because like its skeleton is in the logo. It's kind of like the series mascot. So not having like I wouldn't be against not having it, but kind of like alienating people who are so used to the T-Rex. Just like by killing it off really quickly. It's just kind of like I don't like how they handled it. But again, I love the Spinosaurus. I think it's a cool animal, but I'm more of a T-Rex guy, and I think the Spinos introduction was a little strange. And also people saying that the T-Rex is way too overused and overrated in the franchise. But it's like, but the Raptors, they've literally gotten more screen time than the Rex. I don't get it. But anyway, that's enough of that tangent. I love the T-Rex, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, but anyway, that's pretty much it for the articulation. And the articulation on this figure, not bad. It's slightly better than the articulation for the Re-Ak A-Tak Raptor that I reviewed last week, but still, it's about the same. So the articulation, I'd say, gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure, the same problem I have with, or not really, it's not as bad, but there are still some issues I have with the sculpt here, like the pose. The pose itself isn't terrible as far as being like aggressively stanced, but like, first of all, the tail is just kind of like stuck in the air like this. I would have preferred if it was just like regular, just like that, but just having it in the air looks kind of weird. And of course, this dino damage bit. Of course, with Kenner, like it had this, but you were able to like cover that up. But this, like, you're just stuck with it, and it just looks ugly as hell. Like, why'd they do this? I don't get that. But even the head sculpt, like, it's not 1-to-1 to the Jurassic Park T-Rex, but it still looks close enough. And actually, something I find interesting, the head sculpt here actually looks like a modified version of the young T-Rex from the original Kenner Jurassic Park toy line. Some minor differences, of course, but like, they do look very similar in a way. Like, at least like the upper part of the skull here. The bottom jaw, maybe not so much, but like the upper skull, they definitely do look similar, in my opinion. So yeah, that's something I find interesting. But still, other than this mess here and the tail sticking up, I do like the sculpting a lot. So yeah, the sculpting on this figure is nice. Again, not perfect, but nice. So I'd say the sculpting gets like 3/4 of a pass. Not a full pass because the tail and that, but still very nice for what it is. So the sculpting gets 3/4 of a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detail on this figure is really nice. Like, oh my god, this detailing is great. So of course, all the detailing in the head, all the scales and everything like that, detailed very nicely, and even in the mouth, just a lot of nice detailing there before I got rudely interrupted. The neck here, a lot of great detailing. Like, This, like, of the wrinkles down here at the neck, this looks like straight from the animatronic they used. It looks really nice, and yeah, overall, just a lot of really nice detailing. The dino damage, as much as I don't like it, it is detailed very nicely. And all of, like, the creases and wrinkles and scales and everything like that just looks really good. I like it a lot. A lot of really nice musculature for the legs here, and even the feet are detailed very nicely. And I missed the arms here, so I apologize. But the arms, again, a lot of nice detailing. Great musculature, the scales, everything. It just looks great. And, of course, the tail here. We have more musculature and more scales and everything like that, which looks like really nice, really beautifully defined. And yeah, it just looks great. The detail on this figure is amazing. I love it a lot. So the detailing definitely gets a pass. So at the end of the day, should you get this? If you want a T-Rex figure, then don't get this. There are better options out there. We'll bring them out in a second. But as far as like a Jurassic Park 3 style T-Rex goes, this isn't bad. I like this figure a lot. You know, it's not the cheapest thing out there. This costed me like $59.99 on eBay. So again, it's not super cheap, but at the same time, like, it's still a really nice figure. Don't get the smaller version. The smaller version is ugly as hell, but you know, this bigger version, it looks really nice. I like it a lot. The painting is nice, the sculpting, detailing, articulation, it's all nice. It's just a very nice looking figure. Again, not the best Jurassic Park T-Rex figure, but still very nice for what it is. So I like it a lot. Anyway, now for some size comparisons. Of course, to start, we have literally, not exaggerating here, the greatest dinosaur toy of all time. Here is the original Red Rex. Here they are next to each other. Can't really get her in the frame, but just to give you an idea, there she is. I love this thing. Again, this is like one of my favorite figures of all time. It's great. I love this thing. Whenever I can get it out for a video, it's always a pleasure, because that figure is just phenomenal. I love it to death. Of course, we have another Kenner T-Rex figure. Not as nice as the Red Rex, but the Bull Rex. And again, this figure is still really nice too. Of course, this figure dwarfs this figure here. But again, not as nice as the Red Rex, but still, I love the Bull Rex figure too. Here we have the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Epic Roaring T-Rex. And I like the sculpting here more, but I like the plastic quality and the paint applications and everything like that on this figure more, if I'm being honest. But this figure is still nice too. Again, I know I always say this. I can't stress this enough. I really do like Mattel, but like there's a lot of room for improvement. And if there are better looking dinosaur figures than Mattel, then I'm just going to say it. You know, again, I like Mattel, don't get me wrong, but you know, if there are nicer looking figures, I'm going to point that out. So, that's that. And of course, as tradition, here this figure is with Dr. Billy Grant. And of course, like I said in the last video, Dr. Billy Grant is originally, is originally a Jurassic Park 3 figure. So of course, the scaling between all the Jurassic Park 3 figures would work. It didn't work with the Raptor, but it technically does here. Of course, like, you know, if this was like a fully grown T-Rex, I feel like maybe like that would be a little more accurate. But of course, in Jurassic Park 3, the T-Rex we see is actually a subadult. So the scaling here actually works, because this figure, you could say, is a subadult T-Rex. And like all the other Rexes that I just pulled out, like the Red Rex and the Bull T-Rex, those are like the fully grown T-Rexes. So yeah, as far as being like a subadult T-Rex, I think that works. But as far as like being a fully grown T-Rex, no. It could be a lot bigger. But anyway, here's some hand sanitizer. And there you go. Alright, now that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.